2019 Aston Martin DBS Superleggera Coupe, 2019 Aston Martin DBS Superleggera Sound, new cars by. Welcome to our car blog. This time we will be share information about the latest cars is coming Aston Martin brand. The title of the article we take is 2019 Aston Martin DBS Superleggera Coupe, 2019 Aston Martin DBS Superleggera Sound, new cars by. We will be try discuss details about this car, ranging from reviews, concept, redesign, rumors, exterior, interior, specs, changes, engine, colors, pictures, release date and also prices. Congratulations to read and we hope you enjoy it and then we'll come back again here. 2019 Aston Martin DBS Superleggera Coupe, 2019 Aston Martin DBS Superleggera Sound, new cars by, Aston Martin's past, present, and future hit the blend tech with the 2019 DBS Superleggera. Both the DBS and Superleggera names hark back to what Aston was. But the new car is an extension of the current DB11, and its V12, supplied 715 horsepower is here to illuminate a brighter tomorrow for David Brown's venerable firm. On an interconnected automotive ocean, tiny Aston sails alone, save for its various hardware partnerships with AMG. Its greatest asset remains its own heritage. This is the third Aston Martin to carry the DBS name. George Lazenby as James Bond beached his in 1969's on Her Majesty's Secret Service, and Daniel Craig violently rolled his in 2006's Casino Royale and the first to combine it with the Superleggera modifier. But while Italian coach builder Carrozzeria Touring Superleggera designed DBS 4, 5, and 6, that company's involvement here is limited to licensing the trademark. With the potted history accounted for, let's investigate the car. Chassis. The DBS Superleggera is mostly a DB11, V12 examples of which are now all called the DB11 AMR. Those last three letters stand for Aston Martin Racing and represent Aston's desire to better differentiate between its V8 and V12 models. The DBS seen here represents the company's desire to spin endless derivatives into greater profits. Its bonded aluminum structure, doors, windshield, rear haunches, and suspension pieces are all shared between the stablemates. If a DBS part carries a structural or mechanical load, it's a part also found on the DB11. But while the basic design is familiar, the Superleggera's vibe is new and more athletic yet. The rubber is wider than on the DB11, the electrically assisted power steering mapping is more aggressive, and the 11's optional carbon ceramic brake rotors are standard on the DBS. Aston also massaged the dampers and suspension bushings for this application. Matt Becker spent 26 years fine-tuning suspensions for Lotus before strolling over to Aston Martin in 2015, where he's now chief engineer for the whole organization. The metric we use is ride frequency, which defines the vertical stiffness of the car, says Becker. The DB11's frequency is 1.41 Hz front and 1.63 rear. The Vantage's is 1.65 front and 1.90 rear. And this car's is 1.56 front and 1.74 rear, smack in between. Leggera is Italian for light, and putting super before it implies a radical reduction in mass. It's no surprise how Aston accomplished the weight loss, carbon fiber. The signature element is a huge clamshell hood that saves 5 pounds. More carbon fiber forms the splitter, spoiler, and deck lid, but the standard roof panel is aluminum. A carbon roof is optional, and it's difficult to imagine anyone who can afford the DBS's $308,081 base price balking at its $4,545 tag. In total, carbon fiber cuts 154 pounds from the all-aluminum, $244,081 DB11 AMR. That's definitely Leggera, but super might be a stretch. Design. In front of that hood is a vast grille opening that announces the DBS Superleggera's voracious personality. An additional radiator brings the number of heat exchangers packed into the nose to 6. The DBS has the same 0.38 coefficient of drag as the DB11 AMR, but it manages the airflow differently. The front fender vents are a new design and suck more air out of the wheel wells than the DB11s do. The company says this helps with high-speed stability. The splitter puts downforce up front where none had been before. And in back, a fixed spoiler. Aston calls it the Aeroblade 2 plants the car's hiney with the help of a carbon fiber diffuser. Whereas the DB11 produces approximately 45 pounds of rear downforce and some 100 pounds of front lift at top speed, the DBS's addenda generate 265 pounds of downforce at the rear and 132 on the nose. When you have a car that goes 211 mph, says Becker, it has to feel absolutely pinned at high speed. Powertrain. There are no internal differences whatsoever between the DB11 AMR and DBS engines. It's the same turbos. It's the same everything, Becker says. We've just released the full potential of the engine. That means another 85 horsepower from the twin turbocharged 5.2-liter V12. All the additional power comes from software changes that allow peak boost to rise 4.4 psi over the DB11 AMR version of the engine. Despite the increase in output, there's little reason to expect much change in the engine's power delivery. There's going to be enough torque here to raise that other great paragon of British engineering, the RMS Titanic, out of the North Atlantic. In consideration of its power output, the DBS Superleggera upgrades to the latest and beefiest version of the ubiquitous ZF 8-speed automatic, the 8HP95. Sitting behind the passengers, it's spun by a carbon fiber driveshaft inside an aluminum torque tube. And in case the extra power isn't enough to make the car feel livelier, the final drive ratio moves from the DB11's 2.70:1 to a shorter 2.93:1. Expect a 0 to 60 mph time in the low 3s, limited by how much purchase the rear tires can muster. Superleggera might be a bit of an exaggeration, but Super Presto wouldn't be. Thanks.